Morgan Hunt.
Hey.
Okay, so make sure you can hear me. Tell us how long you've been teaching and what grades you've taught.
I have been teaching for 7 years. I've taught third, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade.
Okay, so you kind of covered elementary and middle school a little bit.
Yep.
So basically, I'm going to read my classroom management idea for my 7th or 8th grade class, and then tell me what you think and what you think I should add.
Okay.
Okay, so my objective is to build a safe and respectful learning environment where everyone feels welcome and to help students mature into young adults. My behavior expectations are number one is respect. You respect everyone in my classroom. You don't have to like them, but you will have to respect them. That includes me and all of your classmates. This includes using appropriate language, respecting others' personal space, and respecting my classroom. Second is teamwork. You have to work in small groups in my class. You will need to be able to talk to your classmates in a professional manner and listen to what everyone has to say. Third is discipline. I expect you to be able to discipline yourself and following my directions and following my classroom rules. If you don't have discipline yourself, I will have to discipline you. This is a very important life lesson that I hope you can take away from my class. For that first section, what do you think here? I don't want to overload you with too much at a time.
Okay, remind me of the first one.
The first was my objective.
Respect?
Oh, yeah.
No, respect?
Yeah.
I think that's great. I mean, if you can have kids respect and they will respect you and you will respect them. And then once you have that connection, kids most likely have very good behavior in a classroom.
Yeah, that's my hope, is just like to get them to understand that what I'm doing is for their best interest.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, my number one thing is always to make a connection with every single child. It's always different. Some are more difficult than others to make connections with, but if you can build that connection and earn respect by showing respect, then I have very little behavior problems.
Right.
Was the third one discipline?
Yeah.
What is your, like, do you have a plan for if they don't follow the expectations, like what your discipline actions are going to be?
Yeah. Those will come up in the next section. We can jump into that.
Okay,
Here
sorry.
we go. The next section is consequences. After the first offense, you'll get a verbal warning, which I will explain to you why you were in the wrong and why you got in trouble. I also listen to what you have to say, either during class or after in class, if it's like a scene during class or something, where I need to like rein the class back in. For me, the second offense will result in PT or a written reflection. So a repeated offense will be a physical discipline, running push-ups, etc., and or a written reflection of why they did what they did and how they are going to change that. I said and or because I know with parents, and if someone is hurt or something, like I do have to have permission by the parents to be able to do that. So that is why I put and or a written reflection. Third offense, contacting parents and detention. With the third offense, you will owe me 30 minutes of your own time before or after class. I will also contact your parents and explain why you are being disciplined. And the fourth offense, I simply put principal. I will report the issues that I've been having and to the principal and let them handle the consequences to follow. So
I think it's great. I love the PT on your second action. Their written reflection, do you plan to send home to their parents and have their parents like sign it so that they saw that their child is having an issue to hopefully not get to step 3?
I never thought about that, but that is not a bad idea. But I would like them to write it on their own and really be able to just like explain their thoughts totally. And I don't want like the parents are kind of writing for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so like I was thinking like after they write it, obviously like at school, you could have like a parent signature spot on the bottom so that they
Mm,
have to take it home and get it signed that their parents had read it so
mm-hmm.
they know that there is an issue. Just thinking about like, I mean, obviously elementary is different than middle school, but we do like think time sheets. So on their second offense, it's kind of similar, but I sit with them and we reflect on, what the behavior is, what caused it, how are we going to change it. And then I make a copy for me. I send a copy home and the kids have to have their parents sign it and then they can bring it
Oh.
back to me.
How often do you do
Just as
that?
like that parent communication piece. Just a just a
I
thought.
like that. I like that. How often do you do that? Just if they have discipline problems?
Yep.
Okay.
Think time is just for like a if they have negative discipline in class.
Okay. Okay. Do you like my order though? I don't I want it to be like, a little bit forgiving, but then get harsher as it goes. Obviously, if you keep repeating an offense, you need to, be disciplined harder, obviously.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I just make sure you keep documentation of like who you discipline. Obviously, not every little thing, but if it's big enough that they're having to write something, I always just keep like a discipline log so that I can go back and show parents like, no, this has been an ongoing issue. Or if they get to the principal stage, I could be like, these are all the interventions I have tried. They're not working, so we're going to need reinforcement from you.
Right, right. And where do you track that at? You have like a Google Sheets or something?
Yeah, I used to do like I have a binder just because like when my think time sheets come home, then I just throw them in my think time like my discipline or my classroom management binder. But other than that, yeah, like a Google Docs or even just like I have like sometimes it's just like a little hand note like in my lesson plan binder underneath my behavior section.
Okay.
But just to document it, it's very important.
Yeah, I was thinking like since I will be middle school, I have, 7 different classes. If I have 20 kids a class, that's a lot of, it's gonna be hard to keep track of all the students.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's why I don't document like little
right,
things.
right.
It's more so if it's a big behavior thing or if it's like something that is ongoing,
Hmm.
then I make sure to really write it down and the steps that I've taken to try and fix it. So that mainly when I get to my principal, I can be like, I've tried. We've done X, Y, and Z. It's still not working. It's time for you to step in.
Right, right, right. Okay. My next section is contacting parents. Parents will be contacted via email after the third offense. After the fourth offense, it will be up to the principal on how he will proceed with things further. Other forms of communication will be phone calls, progress reports, and parent-teacher conferences. Just a little side note for the parents, how I can contact them and such. And you get their phone numbers?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure. Next section, and my final section, is policies. Um, Number one is phones. I have a no phone policy unless I instruct students that they can be on. If I catch a student with their phone, I will take it for the rest of class. If I catch them 3 times, the phone will be sent to the office for the rest of the day, and they will be able to pick it up after the bell rings. I'm a big promoter of no phones. I think they're hurting us or hurting the next generation more than it is helping. But it is here, so we gotta use it when we can. Second is listening. Students will be quiet while I'm giving directions. Failure to do so will result in consequences. Consequences, shown earlier. I promote a classroom environment that is communicative, but when I am giving directions, I do expect silence. Third is entering the classroom. Students should enter the classroom quickly and quietly. I will start my lesson as soon as the tardy bell rings, which is a big point for me for being on time. I think that's a real world lesson that everyone needs to know. Tardis policy is if you are late to class, you receive a tardy unless you have a written excuse by another staff member to why you were late. Finally, is dismissal. Students are released when the bell is rang and are expected to get to their next class on time.
I think it's great. I mean, the phone thing, I definitely agree with. I know our district has had a lot of conversations about phones in the middle school and high school, and the next step in policy on them. I mean, depending on where you end up teaching, they may have a school-wide policy where, you know, phones, like one of our neighboring schools, they have to, everybody turns their phone into the office at the start of the day. They're put in a little baggie. So like, it's not even an issue for them. So depending on where you're at, they might already have something that could
I don't
help you
know if I
out there.
like that though, because I like to be able to give the students some freedom and not just take, their stuff as soon as they walk. I don't know. I get conflicted about that a little bit once we get into like taking them as soon as they walk in the door. Or those, those bags are
Yeah.
like I know some parents are going to complain in the sense of if I need to contact them or whatever. So I like to give them the freedom to have it, but you can do it on your time, but not on mine.
Yeah. Well, and nowadays they all have watches anyway. So if they don't have their phone, they just use their watch.
Yeah,
so.
that is true. I'm hoping that middle schoolers won't have them. But,
Oh,
yeah.
my fourth graders do. We have to have conversations in fourth grade about, no, you cannot go to the bathroom and call your mom on your watch.
You're kidding me.
It's class time. No, that is where we are headed, unfortunately.
Oh my goodness.
So, no, but anyway, sorry, that was kind of off topic, but I think your policies are great. I chuckled to myself when you talked about the walking in your classroom quickly and quietly, because that is a huge expectation of mine. And my kids know the second they walk in that door, their voice is off and they go straight to their seats and we get started.
Which I'm hoping that, if I'm in a good school district, in a sense, the elementary should have them, kind of in a rhythm already. And they can come in and kind of just like get back into that flow. I feel like that's a big thing in elementary schools, if they have good teachers in there.
Yeah.
But sure. If not, they're going to learn.
Yep. And the best way to learn is just practice, practice, practice.
Right.
Oh, I think it's great, Logan. I think you have great ideas, especially for somebody who hasn't even had their own classroom.
Right.
You'll obviously learn as you go and find that what works for one class 1 year will not work the next year, and then you are back to square one.
Right. No, definitely flexibility is a big thing, between a teacher and your classroom management plan, I think. But
yeah,
hopefully that'll be a little baseline for me to kind of start with.
Yeah, I think you got a good start.
Well, Morgan, thank you so much for coming on and helping me out.
You are so welcome.
You have a great rest of your day.
You too, bud.
Bye.
Bye.